Children, welcome to the third lecture for class 9 chapter 2. Okay, in this lecture we'll study about the various separation techniques and what are the principles of the various separation techniques. We'll also study about the need of separation. Why do we need to separate the mixtures? So come, let us start. Separation of mixtures. So why do we need to separate the mixture? We need to separate the mixture because we need to remove the impurities or contaminations from the sample that we collect. Okay, we have to separate because we need to remove all the unwanted things which is present in our mixture. Second, whenever we want the purest form of the sample, we have to separate the mixture using one of the following techniques that we'll study about in this lecture. Third, many times the mixtures that we get is made up of various fractions, and all these fractions are very useful if they are separated. For example, in petrochemical industry, you know it very well, the various fractions of these petrochemicals, if separated, can be of great use. So that is why we have to separate the various, we have to obtain different fractions of the mixture which can be used separately. Okay, so now let us study about separation of solid mixtures. Now mixtures are of two types: mixture of two solids, mixture of solid in liquid, and mixture of two or more liquids. So I have tried to include the topic. Now we'll start separation of solid mixtures. Solid mixtures can be separated by the various methods. I've taken the various examples and I've tried to explain the various methods with the help of examples. The first example is, suppose we have to separate wheat grains from mud. Okay, there are fine mud particles. How do we separate the wheat grains? Now, wheat grains can be separated by hand picking method, or it can also be separated by sieving. Okay, it can also be separated by sieving or hand picking method. Now, what is the principle of this hand picking or sieving technique? The principle of this technique is the difference in color, shape or size. You know it very well. The large wheat grains can be separated by hand picking method. Okay, and if the mud particles are very small, we can sieve these mud particles with the help of sieve or the wire mesh that is available in the market. And whenever we use this sieving technique, the fine mud particles, they pass through the pores and get separated from the large wheat grains. So sieving and hand picking is the technique which can be used for the separation of the mixtures. Next is separation of iron fillings from sulfur powder. How do we separate the iron fillings from sulfur powder? Now, in this mixture, iron filling is magnetic in nature, means it will be attracted by the magnet, whereas the sulfur powder is non-magnetic in nature. So, using this principle, the principle of this technique is one of the components should be magnetic in nature, and the method or the technique is magnetic separation. Now, in this, what do? We bring a magnet and we try to just pass it over the mixture of iron fillings and sulfur powder. So all the iron fillings stick to the magnet and the sulfur powder is left behind in the container. So in a way we have separated the iron fillings and the sulfur powder. The third type of mixture that I have included is a mixture of sodium chloride and ammonium chloride. Mixture of both sodium chloride and ammonium chloride, both of them are white crystalline solids and both of them are water soluble. So we cannot add, many times children write that they should add water. We cannot add water to this mixture because both of them are water soluble and both of them will dissolve in water. So instead, the best technique to separate the mixture of sodium chloride and ammonium chloride is sublimation. Sublimation is the best technique. Why sublimation? Because one of the components, that is ammonium chloride, sublimes when heated and it forms a sublimate, leaving behind sodium chloride as the residue. when we start heating it, the ammonium chloride, it sublimes or it gets converted into the vapor form without becoming a liquid, and sodium chloride remains in the china dish or the crucible in the form of residue. This I have tried to, what is the experimental setup of sublimation? I have tried to explain with the help of this diagram. This diagram, as you can see, is having a inverted funnel. The funnel is inverted. Okay, it is kept on the crucible or china dish. The crucible contains the mixture of sodium chloride and ammonium chloride, and this crucible is kept on wire gauze. Below the wire gauze there is a tripod stand on which the wire gauze is kept. On this wire gauze we keep the crucible. Below, under the wire gauze, we have a burner. Now the mouth, the opening of the inverted funnel is closed with the help of a cotton plug, so that the vapors of ammonium chloride which rise later on, they do not escape out, move out. Now when the burner is switched on, when we light the burner, we can see that the red colored dots that I have made, that is nothing else but ammonium chloride. This slowly gets converted into the vapor form, and these vapors keep rising and they go to the cooler part of the funnel and they start subliming over here. So we can see the crystals of ammonium chloride getting deposited on the surface of the inverted funnel, and this is how the residue is left behind in the crucible or the china dish, and this is how the mixture of ammonium chloride and sodium chloride is separated. Let us study about separation of a third category of solid mixture, that is wheat grains from husk. How do we separate the wheat grains from husk? This can be done by the method called winnowing. You are already aware of this word, winnowing. Okay, the technique is winnowing, and the principle behind winnowing is that when winnowing is done, the mixture of the wheat grains and the husk is dropped from a certain height where the wind speed is, whereas the wind is flowing at a high speed. So as a result, the heavy grain particles, they fall easily, and the lighter particles are carried to far off distances by the fast blowing wind. Okay, so winnowing is the commonly used technique which can be seen in our agricultural fields, used by the farmers as well. Now let us study about the second category of mixture, that is a mixture of solid liquid. Okay, the solid liquid mixture. Now first we'll study about solid liquid mixtures where the solids are insoluble. They do not dissolve in the liquid. For example, mixture of solid and water. Okay, or mixture of clay water. Fine. Here the clay particle is the insoluble solid, or the sand particle instead of solid, let me write sand over here, sand and water mixture. Here the sand also doesn't dissolve in water, so the method used for the separation of such insoluble solids from water is known as decantation. Now in decantation, what is done? The mixture is taken and we add water to it. Now, and it is stirred well. When water is added and stirred well, the heavy particles settle down and the clear liquid can be seen in the container wherever you have collected the mixture. So this clear liquid can now be collected from the top by slowly with the help of your beaker, and this clear liquid is known as supernatant liquid, and the heavy particles which has settled down, that is known as sediment. We can just pour out the clear liquid from the beaker or the container in the form of supernatant liquid, and the sediment will settle down, or the sand particles or the clay particles will settle down. Okay, that can be collected like this. The second method, the second type of mixture is clay with water. By clay here I mean the very fine particles of clay which cannot be separated by decantation, or the chalk particles which are very fine and cannot be separated by decantation as well, and they are insoluble also. They can be separated by the technique which is known as filtration. Remember, filtration is a preferred technique wherever the insoluble solid is very fine in size and cannot be separated by decantation. So this can be done with the help of filtration. In filtration, the mixture is taken in the beaker and it is poured through the filter paper. Filter paper is converted into a filter cone and it is put into the conical flask. The conical flask is then kept on the test tube where the mixture is poured on the filter paper. So the filter paper has very fine pores, and the solid being larger in size, it gets collected on the filter paper as residue, and the liquid which is collected in the test tube, that is known as filtrate. The liquid that we collect, it is pure and it is clear liquid, doesn't have any of the solid particles. Okay, so first two methods was for the insoluble solids. The third mixture is salt water mixture. So here you can see the solid is water soluble. For this we cannot use decantation or filtration. So the method used is evaporation, and this salt which the table salt that we consume, it is obtained from the sea water by the process of evaporation. Now this method can be utilized only for such solids which are stable towards heat, and it can be used for solids which do not decompose on heating, because many a times there are solids which cannot, for example sugar is not heat resistant, and if we start heating the sugar syrup, there comes a time when the sugar is overheated and gets charred. So this method of evaporation cannot be used for all types of solids. Water soluble solids, it can only be utilized for water soluble solids which are heat resistant and which do not decompose on being overheated. Now what is the demerit? The demerit of this evaporation process is that the impurities are not separated. The salt which we are obtaining after evaporation, it is not free of impurities. The impurities are still present over there. First demerit. The second demerit is that we have obtained one of the components, the other component, that is water, is lost in the form of water vapor. Third demerit, we might overheat the solid as well, and this might result in charring of the solid. So a better technique for the separation of salt from water is known as crystallization. So let us talk about the fourth technique. Salt and water can better be separated by a technique which is known as crystallization. In crystallization, what do we do? The principle of, first let us study about principle of crystallization. The principle of crystallization is difference in solubility. Now what do we do here? We take the salt and water solution and we make a saturated solution of this mixture. Once the saturated solution of the mixture is made, the mixture is now allowed to cool down slowly. Okay, as the mixture cools down slowly, now what happens? The component which is less water soluble, it separates out in the form of purest forms of the crystals, and the more soluble component, it remains in the liquid, which is now referred to as mother liquor. Mother liquor is the liquid which is obtained after crystallization of the salt. Okay, so this method has certain merits over, this method is more preferred over evaporation. Why? Because what are the merits of crystallization? First, we obtain the purest crystals. Second, both the components are obtained, that is the salt and the mother liquor, both of them are obtained over here. We are not losing any of the components. The third, there is no overheating or decomposition of the solid. This crystallization technique can also be used for, it can be used for both salt and sugar. As I said, sugar cannot be collected by the process of evaporation because it gets charred. But sugar can be collected by the process of crystallization. So crystallization is a technique which can be used for various types of solids which are water soluble. Now we shall study about the third type of mixtures, that is liquid-liquid mixtures. third type of mixtures, that is separation of liquid-liquid mixtures. So here we have two categories. Liquid-liquid mixtures where one of the liquid is immiscible. Immiscible means there is a difference in density of the two liquids. As a result, both the liquids do not mix up well. They do not form a homogeneous solution. Example, the first category is oil-water mixture, where oil is immiscible or it does not dissolve well in the water. The method used for separation is separating funnel. I have drawn the diagram of the separating funnel. This is how separating funnel looks like. You can see the shape. It has a cork which can be opened from the top. Once the knob is closed, we can pour in the mixture from the top and we can put the cork again. It is mixed well, stirred well, and after that we put it at rest. Once the separating funnel is put at rest, the two liquids separate out and the heavier liquid occupies the bottom position, followed by the lighter liquid. So in case of oil-water mixture, the bottom layer is that of water and the lighter or the top layer is that of oil. Now from the bottom we can open the knob and we can collect this heavier liquid from the bottom. Okay, so what is the principle of this separating funnel? It is the difference in density of the two components of the liquids. And where do we use this method? This method is used, or the application of this method is separation of oil from water. First. Second, extraction of iron ore from slag. Slag is a lighter liquid which is obtained during the extraction of iron from iron ore. Whereas iron at very high temperature, it melts to form a very heavy liquid. So the iron can be extracted, it can be collected from the bottom of the separating funnel. The second type of mixture is alcohol-water mixture. This is both alcohol and water are miscible liquids. Miscible liquids means the alcohol dissolves very nicely in water. Why? Because the difference in density is not much. Okay. The method of separation is distillation. The apparatus used is distillation flask. Okay. And what is the principle of separation? The principle of separation is large difference in boiling point. Now the method of distillation can be utilized only for the liquids which have a large difference in boiling point. The difference in boiling point should be minimum 20 degrees Celsius. And distillation apparatus is a special type of apparatus which has a round bottom flask which is fitted with a condenser. And the round bottom, when we place the contents of the mixture in the round bottom flask fitted with a condenser and we start heating it, the component which has a lower boiling point, both the liquids get heated up and both start vaporizing. But the component which has a lower boiling point will form large number of vapors as compared to the component which has the higher boiling point. And thus the more volatile component will have more kinetic energy, so it will slowly move on to the condenser where it is cooled and collected separately. So this is how, and the cooled and the pure component which is collected separately, that is known as distillate. And this is the first component, and the second component remains there in the round bottom flask and which can be used later on. Now coming on to the third type of mixture, that is ether and alcohol mixture. Ether alcohol mixture is also a miscible mixture, or both the liquids are miscible. That means they mix up with each other or they dissolve in each other very well, forming a homogeneous solution. But the problem with them is that their boiling point, the difference in their boiling point is less than 20 degrees Celsius. So we cannot use distillation. So the method used for separation is fractional distillation technique, and the principle is that there is a small difference in boiling point of the liquids. What is the apparatus used? The apparatus used is same as the distillation apparatus, but here the distillation flask is fitted with a separate long column called fractionating column. This fractionating column is full of beads which provide larger surface area for the vapors to cool down. So you can refer to the diagram and you'll understand the working well. Okay, now in this fractionating column, what happens during fractional distillation? Both the liquids are heated up and the more volatile component vaporizes faster as compared to the less volatile component. The vapors of the more volatile component, they rise high up and move on to the condenser, from where the liquid condenses, the vapor condenses to form a liquid and can be collected as a distillate in a separate beaker. Whereas the less volatile component, it cools down in the fractionating column and it trickles back into the round bottom flask in the form of liquid, and this is how the two components can be separated. Coming on to the fourth category of mixture, the mixture of colorful liquids. For example, ink or chlorophyll pigment, or the pigment that is collected by crushing the petals, natural pigments. The colorful mixture of liquids can be separated by a special technique which is known as chromatography. This is a new technique and a very important technique. Here, the principle of separation is difference in the rate of adsorption. Adsorption means sticking to the paper, okay, or sticking to the foreign body. Now here what do? We take, this is the diagram of chromatography that I have drawn. This is a filter paper. A filter paper is taken, a line is drawn around above 3 inches from the bottommost mark, and there above the line a small mark is made with the help of the, suppose you want to separate the components of black ink, so I have made a small black mark. Now this filter paper is immersed slightly in a trough containing any solvent, for example say water. But we have to be careful enough to see that the mark that I have made, the dot mark that I have made, it is not immersed in the water, it is lying slightly above the water level, and the water level slowly starts rising, as you can see, and the components of the black ink separate out. Now as I said, the water, the principle is the difference in the rate of adsorption. So the component of the ink which is adsorbed faster, it separates out faster. That means the component of the ink which sticks to the filter paper very fast will get separated fast. And the component of the ink which is not sticking to the filter paper, it is carried high up on the filter paper and it is separated at the end. Okay. So chromatography is the technique, remember, which is used for the separation of only colorful pigments. What are the uses? It is used for separation of colors of dye. It is also used for separation of natural colors like that of chlorophyll, like that of the petal extract. It is also used for the separation of drugs from blood. Now coming to the last and the fifth type of mixture, when we have to separate very fine solid particles from a liquid mixture. For example, suppose we have to separate the mixture of say very fine clay particles which are passing through the filter paper, then what do? Then this can be separated by a special type of technique which is known as centrifugation. Centrifugation is a special type of technique which is performed in centrifuge machine. Okay, centrifuge machine. And what is the principle of this? The principle is difference in density of the various components. Now, how does a centrifuge machine look like? Centrifuge machine has, as you can see, it is having stand where various test tubes are there, and this stand is connected to a axle which is in turn connected to the motor. So this centrifuge machine can spin in any one particular direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So whenever the motor is switched on, the centrifuge, this axle starts spinning in a particular direction. So what is done? Suppose I put the mixture of, say suppose I want to separate cream from milk. So the milk is put in these test tubes and the machine is switched on, and the axle will start spinning. And when this is done for a minute or two, and after that when we switch off the machine, it is noticed that the lighter particles, that is the cream, it is separated from the heavier particle, which the heavier particle settles down and the lighter particle starts floating. So the cream will start floating over the milk. So where do we use this centrifugation machine? This centrifugation machine is used for it is also used in washing machines. As you know, in washing machines, the clothes are dried by spinning, and the technique used is nothing else but centrifugation. It is also used in separation of butter or cream from milk. It is also used in diagnostic laboratories where the various components are separated. So this was all about the various separation techniques. This is very, very important with examination point of view, children. Okay, I think I've tried my level best to explain each and every detailed account of the various separation techniques. Fine. In the next lecture, I'll come along with the remaining part of the chapter. Till then, enjoy yourselves. Keep healthy and safe. Bye-bye.